Welcome back to the channel, Cowboys Nation. If you've been looking for the most detailed, most passionate, and most reliable breakdown of everything that's happening in the world of the Dallas Cowboys, then buckle up because today's report is packed with fire. We're diving into some crucial updates from inside the organization that could redefine the tone and trajectory of the upcoming season. This time, it's all about the secondary, and trust me, the developments are coming in hot. Insider information just broke out regarding Trevon Diggs' injury status, and it's not just surface-level updates. We've got serious insights into what this means for the Cowboys' defensive structure moving forward. On top of that, we've got buzz surrounding young talent Shavon Revel, the under-the-radar progress of Israel Mukuamu, and a massive reveal about Stephon Gilmore's status that could shock even the most diehard fans. So let's start where everyone's attention is fixated, Trevon Diggs. The Pro Bowl corner who's become a cornerstone of Dan Quinn's defensive unit is still recovering from that devastating ACL injury he suffered early last season. The moment it happened, fans across the NFL, not just Cowboys Nation, knew the league had just lost one of its most exciting defenders for the remainder of the year. Now, as we inch closer to training camp, Cowboys insiders are starting to whisper serious updates about his rehab, his mental state, and what the timeline truly looks like. According to sources close to the team, Diggs is ahead of schedule. That's right, not just on track, but ahead of schedule. His cutting drills have improved. His lateral movement has regained a lot of the explosiveness we're used to seeing from him. And while the Cowboys aren't pushing him into any unnecessary preseason action, the vibe inside the Star in Frisco is one of growing confidence that Diggs will be back on the field by week 1 and possibly even at full speed. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. While the coaching staff is thrilled with Diggs' progress, they're not taking anything for granted. Behind the scenes, there's been a growing contingency plan brewing, and that plan involves some younger faces and returning veterans ready to fill the gap or offer rotational support in case Diggs isn't fully ready by opening day. One of the standout names we're hearing from insiders is none other than Shavon Revel. You may remember the undrafted rookie who raised eyebrows during minicamps and OTAs with his ball skills, speed, and surprising level of comfort in man coverage. Well, now he's being viewed as more than just a depth project. Multiple Cowboys insiders have reported that the defensive coaching staff has been glowing in their praise of Revel's development. The speed at which he's learning the playbook, his ability to adjust at the line of scrimmage, his physicality in press coverage. It's all pointing to a young cornerback who might make this roster not as a practice squad hopeful, but as someone who can get meaningful snaps early in the year. And this brings us to a critical dynamic that's brewing in the locker room: competition. You've got Diggs recovering, Stephon Gilmore entering what could be his final campaign, Darren Bland looking to build off a breakout season, and now Shavon Revel challenging for relevance. But let's not forget another key piece in this puzzle: Israel Mukuamu. The versatile DB who's floated between safety and cornerback has been quietly having one of the most consistent off-seasons of any player on the defense. While he doesn't get the headlines, coaches absolutely love what Mukuamu brings in terms of positional flexibility. He's long, rangy, and has a knack for being around the football. What we're hearing from internal sources is that Mukuamu may be utilized in a unique hybrid role this season. Think of him as a nickel safety who can also slide outside in case of injury. This could make the Cowboys' sub-packages even more complex and disruptive to opposing offenses. And now, let's talk Stephon Gilmore. The seasoned vet and former Defensive Player of the Year returned to Dallas this offseason on a restructured deal. And while many thought the Cowboys might go younger at the position, Gilmore has been making it crystal clear in practices that he's not done. Not even close. What's emerging from camp reports is that Gilmore has been vocal, physical, and incredibly sharp. His technique hasn't diminished. In fact, some teammates are saying he looks even more dialed in than last year. The reason? Word is, Gilmore is motivated not just by another playoff run, but by the idea that this could be a legacy year. With the team's eyes squarely focused on a Super Bowl berth, Gilmore is ready to cement himself as the veteran leader in the locker room, mentoring younger players like Bland and Revel, while still locking down top receivers on game day. This emerging chemistry within the defensive backs room is creating a very interesting vibe in Frisco. There's trust being built between the young and the experienced, between starters and rotational guys. Diggs has reportedly been mentoring Revel on footwork. Gilmore has been seen staying late with Mukuamu to go over film. This kind of brotherhood is exactly the intangible that championship teams build during the offseason, and right now, the Cowboys secondary is beginning to look like one of the deepest and most motivated groups in the league. But there are still questions. Big ones? Like what happens if Diggs' knee flares up again in training camp? Will Dan Quinn shift Bland to CB1 duties and rotate Gilmore and Mukuamu on the opposite side? Will Shavon Revel be trusted in Week 1 against top-tier receivers? Insiders have hinted that the Cowboys may not be done adding at the position. There have been quiet discussions about potentially signing another veteran CB during camp if any setbacks occur. Names like Casey Hayward and even a speculative reunion with Anthony Brown have been floated. It's not that the Cowboys don't believe in their young guys, it's just about maintaining depth and avoiding a repeat of last season's injury crisis. But even without adding another name, there's growing optimism that this current unit has more than enough talent to survive the early weeks of the season and thrive late when the playoffs loom. Now let's circle back to Trevon Diggs one more time, because this storyline isn't just about an injured knee, it's about a comeback. One that could shape the very identity of the Cowboys defense this season. Sources close to Diggs have shared that he's locked in, both physically and mentally. He's focused on returning not just as a contributor but as a dominant force. He's watching film daily, sitting in on additional position meetings, and even consulting with rehab specialists outside the organization to get every edge he can. And that's a good sign, not just for Diggs, but for Cowboys fans everywhere. Because a fully healthy, fully engaged Trevon Diggs is a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Pair him with a motivated Stephon Gilmore, an ascending Darren Bland, a Swiss Army knife like Mukuamu, and a hungry rookie like Revel? You're looking at a defensive backfield that can take away both sidelines, blanket slot receivers, and bait quarterbacks into critical mistakes. Let's not sugarcoat it, though. The Cowboys face serious pressure this season. With Dan Quinn returning for another year and the team trying to finally push past the divisional round, every piece of the puzzle needs to click. That means Micah Parsons causing chaos up front, Leighton Vander Esch staying healthy, and yes, the secondary locking things down. Every injury, every personnel move, every positional battle is going to matter. And the DB room, right now, is shaping up to be one of the most fiercely contested, deeply talented groups we've seen in Dallas in years. And while much of the media attention will go to Dak Prescott's contract talks, CeeDee Lamb's WR1 dominance, or Tony Pollard's replacement in the backfield, it's the secondary that may ultimately decide just how far this team can go in 2025. With elite offenses dominating the NFL, you need cornerbacks who can turn the tide. Pick sixes, forced fumbles, third down shutdowns. This group is preparing to be that difference. And as we look ahead to training camp, preseason matchups, and eventually the regular season, Cowboys fans would be wise to keep a close eye on the defensive backfield. So there you have it, insider details, fresh analysis, and an in-depth look at a position group that's buzzing with energy and possibility. Whether it's the return of Diggs, the leadership of Gilmore, the emergence of Revel, or the quiet excellence of Mukuamu, the Cowboys are quietly building something special. And as always, we'll be here covering every development, every injury update, and every breakout moment along the way. If you're not subscribed yet, now is the time, because this season is shaping up to be unforgettable. Hit that like button, share this video with your fellow fans, and drop a comment letting us know who you think will be the breakout star in the Cowboys secondary. Until next time, stay locked in and go Cowboys!